Okay, so another super chat. Thank you very much for the super chat. My husband is 34 years old. He's on medication for high blood pressure, cholesterol, acidity, fatty liver, high carb Indian diet. What should his diet look like? Well, it depends. So culturally, if you guys are vegetarian or vegan, I guess that matters. If you're a vegetarian, but you're like ovo lacto vegetarian, I would eat eggs. Basically, you can just eat eggs, right? What is an egg? An egg has all the nutrients in order to grow an animal life form with nothing extra left over, right? It's exactly what you need. It has everything you need because it has to have everything you need or you're not going to make an animal. And it doesn't have anything extra left over because there's nothing extra left over. There's just a little chicken in there, right? There's nothing else, right? So it's exactly what at least that form of life needs. And so we get everything we need from it as well. So it's considered a perfect protein because it has the exact balance of amino acids that we need in the exact proportions that we need them. So it's the right balance, and not only the right amino acids, but the right balance of amino acids. That's very important. So you can just eat a ton of eggs. I would 100% get rid of carbs. I would 100% get rid of sugar and get rid of alcohol, get rid of seed oils, any cooking oils, get rid of them. If you are able to eat meat based on your religion and culture, I would eat meat. I would go on a carnivore diet. I would go on a high-fat carnivore diet. If you're able to at least eat eggs, then go for the eggs instead of meat. But I would predominantly eat those, and I would eliminate out as much of the other stuff. Certainly all the processed garbage, right? Get rid of carbs. Get rid of sugar. Get rid of alcohol, 100%, and get rid of seed oils. Do not cook with cooking oils. Anything that's liquid at room temperature, do not have it in your house. That includes olive oil. Olive oil is much better than canola oil and soybean oil, way better. And certainly, coconut oil is better still, but they're still not perfect. Olive oil and avocado oil, they're still liquid at room temperature. They're still going to degrade into free radicals and to oxidative stressors and things that can cause oxidative stress. They have more omega-6s than you want as well, and they also have a lot of plant sterols which impede our normal functioning and metabolism of cholesterol, which you don't really want. So, the cholesterol medications like statins, what they do, how they lower cholesterol is they stop your body from making cholesterol in the first place. Your body's making good cholesterol. It's making the large buoyant LDL cholesterol molecules. It doesn't do anything about the small dense lipoproteins. That's a different pathway, right? So they don't do anything for that. They don't lower those ones, which are actually have an association with disease. So you're actually lowering the LDL that's actually good for you. Lipitor, which is atorvastatin, and I think simvastatin, or one of the other. Well, there's a few others anyway, but certainly Lipitor, and that's like the most commonly used statin. That crosses the blood-brain barrier, as I believe that's the case. That crosses the blood-brain barrier and stops your brain from making cholesterol. About 20% of your brain is cholesterol. Right? So you don't want to impede your brain from being able to make cholesterol, which is the building blocks for your brain. You get demyelination of your axons because a lot of that is cholesterol, and you can't build up your brain properly. You start reducing the myelination of your axons. Your brain cells can't fire properly. They can't communicate with each other. They can't move your body in the way that they're supposed to. They can't run your body the way they're supposed to. You start getting problems. And there was a study that I saw Dr. David Diamond present on it at Metabolic Health Summit in Denver last year, or earlier this year, I should say, and something that Dr. Baker made a video about recently about statins, and that I encourage people to go check out, which was basically they had these people on these statins that cross the blood-brain barrier. And so they looked at that and said, okay, these are getting in the way of cholesterol metabolism and formation in the brain. What if we took these people off that? It's usually people with dementia, Alzheimer's, right? They took them off. In about 6 weeks, they all of a sudden didn't have Alzheimer's anymore, right? And their brains recovered. That's amazing, right? And then they put them back on the statins. And what do you know? 6 weeks later, they've got Alzheimer's again. Oh, shoot, it sucks. That came back. So what does that mean? That means this is causing neurodegradation of the brain. That's not okay. So that's something that people should think about. Are we concerned about cholesterol? Was cholesterol ever a marker of disease? I don't think that the literature bears that out. And the evidence certainly doesn't, because this was a fraud from the beginning. This was never the case that cholesterol caused heart disease, ever. That was never the case. That was a fraud. That was a lie. That's reported and documented in peer-reviewed journals such as the Journal of the American Medical Association in 2016, with actual internal memos from the sugar companies detailing how they paid off 3 Harvard professors to falsify data and publish fraudulent studies to make it appear as if cholesterol caused heart disease when it was really sugar, and to exonerate sugar and say that sugar was safe. One of those professors was named head of the USDA, and he was the one who authored and published the 1977 USDA declaration saying that cholesterol caused heart disease, and so we should stop eating it. So saturated fat increases cholesterol causes heart disease, stop eating all of this, and this is what changed the world. We stopped eating red meat, we stopped eating eggs, we started eating more lean chicken and things like that, and we reduced our red meat by over a third. We increased seed oils by over 3-fold. We increased high fructose corn syrup by over 3-fold. And we increased fruits and vegetables by 30 and 40% respectively, increased grains as well, right? Reduced fat and cholesterol, reduced red meat. And what happened? Heart disease rates triple. And people say, oh, well, but deaths from heart disease actually peaked in the 60s, 70s, and then it started coming down. That is someone who is intentionally trying to mislead you with flawed statistics and misleading statistics, because we're not talking about deaths. We're talking about prevalence. We're talking about incidence. We're talking about how many new people every year are getting diagnosed with heart disease. What is the entire burden of the population that have heart disease? That they are both increasing year after year. Deaths from heart disease are coming down, but people have also stopped smoking as well. They've seriously reduced the amount of smoking. But the Inuit have lower rates of heart disease and deaths from heart disease. They start smoking on average at 8 years old, but they eat a high-fat diet. And this is actually mixed in with the population of people that aren't doing a traditional diet as well. When you're only looking at the ones doing a traditional diet, they don't really get heart disease to speak of at all, even though they smoke from 8 years old, right? They have much lower rates. In fact, there was a study in 1992 looking at the Canadian Inuit, and they're saying, hey, these guys eat a whole bunch of fat. They're smoking from an early age, but they have relatively low heart disease rates, compared to other Canadians. So maybe they have genetic protections against this. They checked it. They looked at 5 different genetic markers that would predispose you or protect you from heart disease. They had all the bad ones. They had all the ones that would predispose you for getting heart disease, right? And not protecting. They're like, okay, we don't know what the hell's going on here, because they're doing everything wrong, and they're actually genetically predisposed to get heart disease. So we don't know what the hell's happening here. So liars and people intentionally trying to mislead you and sell an ideology will try to say that heart disease, deaths from heart disease, cardiovascular disease, actually gone down, peaked in the 60s. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about incidence. We're talking about prevalence. We're talking about how many people have heart disease. Because, again, smoking came down. That helped a lot with the death rate. But you know what also helped with the death rate? Triple bypass surgeries, stents, all the different sorts of medications and treatments that we have intervening. We can put in, TPA. We have someone that comes in with a heart attack. We can return circulation to that heart so that heart muscle doesn't die. So they're much less likely to die from that heart attack, right? But more people are having heart attacks. They don't tell you that. They're just not dying from those heart attacks. People are more likely to have a first heart attack and survive than before, right? They're just more likely to survive them. And so, if anyone says that, you know that they are full of shit and a liar and are trying to mislead you. And so you cannot trust a word that they say. Maybe they've just heard that. But this is a professional, and they're touting themselves as someone who really knows what they're talking about, and they're trying to feed you that line of garbage. Well, either they're just very wrong and they don't know the literature, so they're ignorant and they just can't trust anything they say, or they're intentionally trying to mislead you, right? There's 3 kinds of lies, right? Lies, damn lies, and statistics. So this is a lie of statistics. So they're trying to mislead you and take you down a different track by telling you what they want you to know about, but not actually answer your question, which is prevalence, rates, incidence of heart disease, heart attacks. They say, oh, well, deaths from heart attacks actually gone down. Not what I said, not what I asked. So, not relevant, right? And you're trying, it's a red herring. You're trying to lead people down a side path. So it's something that people should be very, very mindful of. And so, if we're not worried about cholesterol, why are we taking cholesterol medications, especially when those cholesterol medications can cause such serious and debilitating issues such as Alzheimer's, right? Not a great idea. Not a great idea to be taking medications that you don't need to take. So I'm not telling you or your husband to come off any medications. I'm just telling you the facts. And those are some studies. And you should, talk to your doctor and do what you will. But I would still eat as close to a meat-only diet as you can. Substitute eggs if you can't do meat, and really get away from the carbs, sugar, and seed oils. And good luck to you.